as both of his Mustangs. Bugatti outsold him back to Forza Horizon 3 with another investigation, because I've been wanting to do this one for a while, but the performance impact of wide body kits, because they do add they do have some advantages. They have much bigger tires. You have, I think, 395s on the rear for some vehicles. They're humongous tires on the back of these and the front of these vehicles, and they have fairly giant wings. In the instance of the NSX, need scaffolding to hold it on. However, they are heavier, and they don't allow for a Forza front aero bit on it, so that might reduce turning capability, but some of them do have front splitters already. So I was curious to see how a wide-body car versus a non-wide-body car would fare. And I set a few different tracks to see how each one would fare. Alright, the first vehicle that I used was the Toyota GT86 with a rocket bunny kit on it. As you can see, it already has a wing, it already has a front splitter. It has race suspension, a little bit more horsepower, and has 201 horsepower. Weighs 3,600 pounds. Not the best power-to-weight ratio, but it's not the worst, I guess. That's just a pretty bad power-to-weight ratio. Anyway, now, what I did in order to balance it out is I used the Rocket Bunny kit, and then I add whatever parts necessary to get it up to B class. And then whatever I did to this vehicle, besides the Rocket Bunny kit, I put on the non-Rocket Bunny kit car. So, for instance, this vehicle has the exact same specs, the exact same horsepower, exact same torque. The only things that are different is the aero parts, at the form of the body kit and the Forza aero, and the tire size. Now, the tire sizes for this vehicle, let me pull up my sheet right here, is 315s on the rear. Yeah, excuse my driving. Quite coincidental timing on that one. 315s on the rear, which are decent sized tires, compared to 295s on the rear for the non-Rocket Bunny kit, which is still respectable. Still very respectable tire sizes for the GT86. But even still, it's quite a sizable difference. And yeah, the lap time for the GT86 was a 1:0.060 during my 3-lap testing around this circuit. Quite a nice car to drive. Admittedly, it wasn't very fast, but it was still quite a nice car to drive around the circuit nonetheless. Now, my Rocket Bunny kit for the GT86 had the exact same power, exact same torque. The only difference was the weight, the aero, and the tire sizes. And the weight was different because of, well, bigger tires is more weight, and the wide body kit added weight as well. So that's the only reason the weight is different. And I decided to make it a little interesting because the Rocket Bunny kit adds a splitter to the GT86. So I was curious to see if that would provide downforce. So I was also comparing it to the Forza aero that is provided, because that's a pretty sizable splitter in comparison to this. This one's a little wimpy. The one on the BRZ was massive and phasing to the floor in some instances. So I was curious to see how this GT86 would fare to the Rocket Bunny one. And the vehicles felt very similar in terms of handling. They had very little difference, but it was curious because this one felt slower. And I'm not sure if that was because of the drag created by the wing and the splitter, which had more drag, might have more downforce. I'm not sure. It doesn't say the downforce of Rocket Bunny kits. But yeah, I just didn't feel as fast. You didn't seem to get the same top speeds down this like high speed section down here. You didn't quite seem to get the same amount of ultimate top speed when I was driving them around. But it was still a pretty darn good car. And this, as I said before, has 295s on the rear, which is not bad showing for a stock vehicle, no wide body kit. Those are almost off-road, not off-road, muscle car spec tires. And, well, given by the lap time you just saw, it is a lot quicker. I don't know why, but it is. Given by the time that you saw in the previous screen, the no wide body kit was monumentally faster than the wide body kit, going 0.4 of a second quicker with a 59.626, which surprised me. I know it has a Forza arrow on it, but I did not expect that result, which pretty darn impressive given the 30mm difference on the rear tires. Yeah, that was an interesting one, given the fact that it didn't feel faster. But that is what we were finding. Of course, you know, now, of course, it's all well and good to have these bigger tires on asphalt, but what about on snow? Snow is a completely different environment we've never had in Forza before. So I thought we should go ahead and put the wide body kits to the test on the snow as well. And, well, I decided to use the 911 GT2 with the RWB body kit on it. Because it's a new car, new body kit manufacturer, why not? Plus, I like the car, I like how it drives. And I'm using the satellite scramble circuit. It's a high-speed section, but it has some big braking zones, it has a hairpin, has snowy dirt, has tarmac, has all sorts of things, has ice, has a patch of ice to worry about. And yeah, this Porsche was very, very quick. It's up to S1 class with the tires, 457 horsepower, four-wheel drive converted. Now, an interesting thing about this body kit is that it didn't have a rear wing, so this is the Forza rear wing, and I must say, it is mighty impressive. They removed the top part of the original GT2 wing and put another wing on top of the torn-apart wing. Mighty impressive. Also has off-road suspension to deal with that jump, and just general bumps around the course. Now, this vehicle in particular, with the wide body kit, has 365s on the rear, which is mighty impressive. Some of the biggest herds you can get in this game, really. I know the F40 can get 375s, which is nice, very nice indeed. But still pretty darn impressive tires. And, well, it's a pretty darn impressive car to be a 115.677. So, yeah, I actually have not driven on this course for time trialing, so I'm not sure how fast of a time that is, at least until I race my next car. Now, this is the Porsche 911 GT2 without the RWB kit, and you would definitely see or feel a noticeable difference between the RWB kit and this one. This one has a measly 325s on the rear. Still pretty big tires, but they're not the 365s you saw on the wide body kit. And that definitely shows that we definitely do not have the same levels of grip as the blue Porsche. This one was a little bit more difficult to drive than the other one. I just didn't have the cornering grip. It slid around a little bit more. Wasn't as comfortable in the snow. Both of the Porsches were pretty darn good around that tarmac section here, but it's still not nearly as good as the RWB kit Porsche. And yeah, I mean, it's still not a bad vehicle to drive. I've driven much worse. The Subaru Brat comes to mind. The Mini Cooper, that also goes into memory. But yeah, I did hit the ice on this run. I stayed out of the wall, and on my final run, I did actually get a clean run. It's not. All these vehicles are pretty nice to drive. Cutting it a little fine with the foliage there. I guess that rock. I think, well, the rock count as foliage, I don't know. But, yeah, this Porsche just didn't quite have the levels of grip that I thought the, Porsche would have. It's still four-wheel drive, 457 horsepower, same as the other one, but just not really quite as composed on the snowy circuit, the satellite scramble. And it does weigh a little bit less thanks to the lack of a wide body kit, but not much. It weighs less than 50. There's less than 50 pounds difference between the two vehicles, which is pretty much identical in comparison. And when talking about racing in this game, anyway, yeah, decent enough. Both of them were nice cars to drive, but you would see there was a noticeable difference when it came to the grip, and I have a feeling that was related to the tire sizes of the vehicles. And all of the times, the wide-body kit was much faster, with a 115.667 around the circuit, followed up a second slower than the wide-body kit. The non-wide-body kit 911 did a 116.543, so almost a full second slower than the wide-body kit. And I think the reason for that is the reason we had such a difference in times. On tarmac, you don't have to worry about a lack of grip, so you can focus more on the turning aspect, which is why the downforce is more useful, and you get less downforce with the wide body kit. But when you're on snow, grip becomes a top priority, and with those giant rear tires on the back, which are 365s, because 325s are not bad, but 365s are just that much better. Thanks to that level of grip, you were able to get a better run. You were able to get traction down easier, you were able to take corners nicer. And since both of them had the Forza rear arrow, the only thing the other one was missing was a front arrow bit. And that doesn't produce as much downforce as the rear arrow, so the rear arrow takes more precedent, which means it doesn't lose as much time around the corners. So, yeah, a pretty interesting result given these polar opposites of the time. So what conclusions can we draw from this? Because we have had the wide body cars doing worse by a couple of tenths of a second on the tarmac, but we've had them go a full second faster on the snow. And wide body kits are most useful in the snow because they give you that much more grip. And I explained this earlier, but for a conclusion, you want the wide body kit if you're going to an off-road area where there's no tarmac or very little tarmac. Anywhere there is less grip, you would want a wide body kit, simply because it gives you more tire to put on the road, and that is outweighing in terms of impact the lack of turning with the front arrow. And when it comes to the tarmac, you want that arrow because you already have plenty of grip. Well, the roads in Forza Horizon 3 are designed to give you as much grip as possible while still being a public road. And you just don't need that big of a tire size in order to do well. You need the downforce. The downforce will help you on the tarmac more than it will on the dirt. So overall, I would say wide body kits are interesting because I would use them because they prove to be, they're slower, but they're not that much slower in the long run on a tarmac course, and they're monumentally faster off-road. So if you're, say, on a scramble circuit, where it has a little bit of tarmac and a lot of off-road, or vice versa, you want a wide body kit, because then you can get more grip, and you don't lose, and you can still have that grip with some turning capabilities. And yeah, so wide body kits, even though they are much lower to the ground than the normal vehicles, are better off-road, which is a bit of an ironic statement. And with that, I shall leave you with the strangest rear wing combination I have seen in the game. And that is it for this episode of Forza Horizon 3. I'll be back with more.